David Smith here with another Flip Classroom math video. A few tips before we start. Remember that you can slow down or speed up the playback if that helps you follow along. You can also pause the video at any point to catch up with your notes or to try the problems before I explain them. Finally, you could turn on the captions and read my words below on the bottom of your screen. Today's topic, factoring perfect squares. So the last one was difference of squares. Now we're going to move on to that perfect squares pattern and use that to do some factoring. A quick review. A perfect square is something times itself. Okay? So when we just used letters to show the pattern, we did a plus b squared. So that breaks down to a plus b times a plus b. If we FOIL that, we get this phrase. We get an a squared, we get an ab, we get another ab, and then finally we get b squared. So when we combine our middle terms, we get a squared plus 2ab equals b squared. So this pattern here generates that there. Now it's the same if you have a minus, it's just that the minus, you get a minus there. So this pattern is identical to that one with the exception of you have a minus 2ab in the middle because you had a minus there. Okay? So these are the two patterns that we use. Now, this is tricky. I find that students struggle with this one because it's hardest to see. Because now you're asked to look at one of these and go to here. Okay, so it takes a few more steps. I have a couple ways to look at that. Here's one that works that way. Okay, so let's take a peek. This is x squared plus 10x plus 5 squared. So we're getting a feeling that we have something that might fit that pattern, in which case we could go back to something like that. And yeah, I mean, if this middle term works out right, then this is just going to be x plus 5 squared. So what we need to be able to do, we need to be able to write this as 2 times a times b. Okay, let's do an example. X squared plus 10x plus 25. This is a perfect square. This will work out. We'll be able to factor it back into something like that. First step would be x squared plus 10x plus 5 squared. 25 is a perfect square. Let's write it as our 5 squared. Now we can see that this could be fitting the pattern because over here we have a squared, we have x squared, but that's an a, and then we have a b squared at the end, which is 5 squared. So all we have to do is ensure that 10x could be written as 2ab. And indeed it can. Let's do that. Let's take a peek. 2 times a, which is x, times b, which is 5. So this does equal 10x. So that means this is a perfect square, and we can just go to x plus 5 squared. Pretty snazzy. Okay. Try that one. See what you get. Okay, so let's see how you did. I'm going to rewrite this as x squared. Now I need to write this as a 2ab. So minus 2 times x times my b, which is going to be 7, plus 7 squared. And it fits the pattern. My b would be 7. I can write 2ab, and this is 14x. This is negative 14x. So that works. I verified that this is a perfect square, so now I can write x plus 7 squared. How about that? 2 more examples. Try that one. See if you can do that. Okay, so this one is 3x squared. So there's our a squared, and our b squared is just, 1 is one of those kind of special numbers. The square root of 1 is 1, and the square of 1 is 1. So we got our 1 squared. So now we need to write minus 6x as minus 2 times a times b. And indeed that's going to work out because it's going to be minus 2 times 3x times 1. 2, 3 is 6 times 1 is still 6. So indeed this guy is 6x. So that's going to let us be able to write, here's our a, 3x plus 1 squared. Okay, give that one a try. See what you get. Okay, so let's rewrite our first so we can figure out what our a is. 2x squared, that's our a. 4 is a perfect square. And then over here, again, same thing with 1, that's 1 squared. So now we just need to be able to write this as 2 times a times b, and indeed that also works. 2 times 2x times 1, that makes 4x. So now we know that this can just be 2x plus 1 squared. Now I have a mistake over here. Did you catch it the first time around? If not, take a peek. What's wrong? Check it out. I have a minus in the middle. Minus in the middle. That means I have a minus in my square. So this should be -1. If you cut that, good job. Now that you've finished, take a moment to write down any questions so you can bring them to our next class and get some help. You can also watch the video again to improve your understanding. If you enjoyed the video, please click the like button down below, and if you'd like to help me grow my YouTube channel, please click subscribe.